Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Mr. English Lab, the place where your English grows, one story at a time. Today, the moment that changes everything. Listen closely, because today I want to begin with a moment. A moment that feels small on the outside, but changes everything on the inside. A moment we all experience at least once in our life, but we rarely talk about it. And, maybe, you have already felt this moment too. It is early morning. The sun is not fully awake yet. The world is still quiet. And you open your eyes with a strange feeling in your chest, like something is missing, like something is not right. You do not know what it is, but you feel it. You feel that you want your life to move. You want your life to go forward. You want your life to feel different, better, stronger. But instead, everything looks the same. Every day looks like yesterday. And yesterday looked like last week. And suddenly, you ask yourself a quiet question. Why am I not moving? Why am I not growing? Why does life feel like it is happening to me instead of with me? This is the moment. The moment before change. The moment before a new story begins. The moment when a reactive person wakes up and starts walking toward becoming a proactive person. And today, inside this long, cinematic, simple English journey with Mr. English Lab, we will walk together through that transformation. Slowly, clearly, like a story, like a movie, like a friend guiding you forward. Because becoming a proactive person is not about being perfect. It is not about forcing yourself to work hard. It is not about being busy all the time. Becoming a proactive person begins with one simple idea. You can choose your response. Not the world. Not the situation. Not other people. You. You can choose your response. And when a person truly understands this idea, life changes. Confidence grows. Peace grows. Success grows. English skills grow. And suddenly, life begins to feel like something you can shape, not something you are pushed by. So today, I want to take you into this journey. Step by step. Through stories. Through emotions. Through moments of quiet reflection. Simple English, simple sentences, simple images. But deep understanding. You and I, together, discovering what it means to stop waiting and start creating. There is a young man in our story today. His name is Samir. And Samir is like many of us. Kind, hardworking, quiet, but also confused, tired, and sometimes disappointed in himself. For many years, Samir lived in a way that felt safe. He followed what others told him to do. He reacted to problems only after they appeared. He waited for instructions. He waited for motivation. He waited for life to become better. But waiting didn't help him. Waiting only made him feel smaller. And reactive. And stuck. One morning, just like you, Samir woke up with that same heavy feeling. That same silent question. That same whisper inside. There must be more to life than this. There must be something I can do. And that moment became the beginning of a big shift. In his life and in yours. Because today, as you listen, Samir's story will become your story. His journey will become your lesson. His transformation will show you the path to becoming proactive. Not in a big or difficult way, but in a simple, small, friendly, human way. A way beginners can understand. A way learners can feel. A way listeners can practice. So let us walk into Samir's world. The warm morning light gently enters Samir's small room. The fan spins slowly above him, making a soft, comforting sound. Outside, the street is waking up. A shopkeeper pulls open a metal shutter. A bicycle bell rings. A child laughs in the distance. The world is alive, but Samir is still lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in a thought he cannot escape. That quiet question again, why am I not moving? He tries to ignore it. He tries to get up and continue with his day. But something stops him. Something inside him asks him to listen, to stop running from this feeling, to face it. So he sits up on his bed slowly, takes a long breath, and whispers to himself in a tired voice, "I feel stuck." And that is the first honest sentence he has spoken to himself in a long time. When a person speaks honestly, something inside begins to open. Something inside becomes ready. Samir does not know it yet, but this small honesty is his first step toward becoming proactive. When we are reactive, we blame everything outside of us. We say, "I am stuck because of my job. I am stuck because of people around me. I am stuck because nothing is changing." But when we are proactive, we begin with honesty. We begin with the truth inside us. And that truth gives us power. Samir takes another breath and touches the small notebook on his bedside table. It is an old notebook with pages that are slightly torn, but he keeps it close. He opens the notebook slowly and sees a sentence he wrote months ago. The sentence says, "One day, I will become the person I want to be." And suddenly, he feels something move inside his chest. A mix of sadness and hope. Because he wants to believe in that sentence, but he feels so far from it. He feels like he is waiting for someone to help him. Waiting for life to change. Waiting for energy to magically appear. Waiting. Always waiting. And maybe you feel something similar too. Maybe you have dreams. Maybe you have goals. Maybe you have things you want to improve. Your English, your confidence, your daily life, your habits. But something inside holds you back. Something inside makes you wait. Something inside makes you reactive. This story is for you. This story is for all of us. Samir closes the notebook and whispers to himself, "I cannot keep living like this." And that single whisper opens the door to a new life. When a person says, "I cannot continue like this," they are not complaining. They are awakening. They are beginning. They are stepping into a new identity. Samir does not know exactly what to do, but he knows he must start somewhere. So he stands up, walks to the small mirror in his room, looks at his tired face, and asks a quiet question, "What if life is waiting for me to make the first move?" That is how a proactive person thinks. A proactive person does not wait for life to improve. A proactive person makes small moves that slowly, gently, powerfully change everything. And today, as you listen to this long English storytelling practice, you will learn exactly how to become that person. You will learn through scenes, moments, emotions, thoughts, reflections, and simple images that you can hear, feel, and repeat. You will learn phrases you can use every day. Whisper. You will learn how to break the habits of reactivity. And you will learn how to build the calm, steady power of proactivity inside you. But before we go deeper, I want to take you into the heart of Samir's day. Because every transformation begins inside an ordinary moment. A small moment. A moment you almost miss. Samir walks to his small kitchen. He pours some water into a steel cup and drinks slowly. His mother is sitting near the window, peeling vegetables for lunch. She looks at him and says with a soft smile, "You woke up early today." Samir smiles back politely, but inside, he feels restless. He wants to say something, but he does not know how. His mother looks at him more carefully and asks, "Is everything okay?" He hesitates. Should he say the truth? Should he keep it inside? Should he pretend to be fine? Many of us do this. We hide our confusion. We hide our fear. We hide our desire to grow. But growth begins with honesty. Not to others, but to ourselves. Samir finally says, "Ma, I feel stuck." His mother stops peeling the vegetables. She looks at him with gentle eyes. Eyes full of love and experience. She says, "Feeling stuck is not bad, Samir. Feeling stuck means you are ready to move." These words hit him deeply. Because no one has ever told him that before. And maybe no one has told you that either. Feeling stuck does not mean you are weak. Feeling stuck does not mean you are failing. Feeling stuck means your heart is asking you for change. Feeling stuck means you are ready for a new chapter. Feeling stuck means you are waking up. His mother continues, "The world will not always change for you. But you can always change for the world." And suddenly, something becomes clear in Samir's mind. A small light, a small spark, a small beginning. He finishes his water, thanks his mother, and steps outside into the warm morning air. The sun is brighter now. The street is busy. People are walking. A dog is sleeping near a shop. A bus honks loudly. Life is moving all around him. And for the first time, Samir feels a quiet voice inside whisper, "You can move too." He feels it. Deeply. Truly. And that is where his journey and your journey begins today. With a waiting for someone to guide him. Waiting for the right time. But the right time never came. And maybe you have felt the same. Maybe you want to speak better English, but you wait for the perfect moment. Maybe you want a better life, but you wait for permission. Maybe you want to feel strong inside, but you wait for the world to change first. But the world will not change first. You must. And this is what Samir begins to understand in this quiet morning moment. Samir asks the old man, "How do people stop waiting? How do they start creating?" The old man smiles, his eyes shining with simple wisdom. "They do one small thing," he says. "They act before they feel ready." Samir repeats the sentence quietly to himself. Act before you feel ready. The old man says yes. Most people wait until they feel confident. They wait until they feel motivated. But confidence comes after action, not before. Motivation grows after movement, not before. You do not wait for the fire. You make the spark. And suddenly, Samir understands something very important. Something that will guide the rest of his journey. Something that will guide your journey too. Proactive people do not wait for the perfect feeling. They take small action even when they feel unsure. That is what makes them powerful. That is what makes them calm. That is what makes them leaders of their own life. Samir finishes his tea and thanks the old man. As he stands up, the old man puts a gentle hand on his shoulder and says, "Your life changes the moment you stop asking, 'What will happen?' and start saying, 'This is what I will do.'" These words follow Samir as he walks away from the tea stall. They repeat in his mind like a soft echo. This is what I will do. He does not know exactly what he will do yet. But he knows he wants to take one small step today. One small action that can begin the journey of becoming proactive. But what should that step be? What should he do? The street is busy now. People walking in every direction. Some moving fast. Some slowly. Some with purpose. Some without. And Samir observes something new. Some people are moving because they choose to. Some people are moving because they have to. Some are living with intention. Some are reacting without thinking. And maybe you have seen this too. Maybe you have felt it. That difference between living with purpose and living on autopilot. And Samir wonders quietly, which one am I? Which one do I want to be? Many years, he was reactive. If someone asked him to do something, he did it. If someone got angry, he became quiet. If a problem appeared, he waited. If an opportunity appeared, he hesitated. He never took the first step. He never made the first move. He never shaped the moment. He let the moment shape him. But today feels different. Today, he wants to choose. Not react. Choose. He walks down the street and enters a small park. Children are running. A group of elderly people are doing morning exercises. A woman is feeding birds. And in the middle of the park on a wooden bench sits a man reading a book. Samir sits on the bench next to him, feeling calm. The man closes his book for a moment and smiles politely. Samir notices the title of the book, The Power of Choice. The man catches Samir's curious expression and says gently, This book teaches one simple thing: life is not what happens to you. Life is how you respond to what happens to you. Samir laughs softly. I feel like everyone is telling me the same thing today. The man closes the book completely now and says, maybe it is because you are ready to hear it. Samir looks at him surprised. What do you mean? The man says, there are lessons around us every day, but we only understand them when our heart is open. Today, your heart is open. Samir feels moved by these words. He feels like the world is speaking to him in different voices: the old man at the tea stall, his mother, this stranger in the park, and even his own thoughts. All saying the same thing: you have the power to respond. You have the power to choose. You have the power to act. The man returns to his book, but Samir stays on the bench, thinking deeply. And this thinking leads him to another important question. What does a proactive person actually look like? How do they think? How do they act? To understand this, Samir decides to observe people around him. A young woman walks by holding a notebook. She looks confident. Her steps are strong. Her eyes are focused. Samir imagines her saying to herself, I know what I need to do today. I am ready. That is proactive energy. A teenager is practicing basketball alone. He misses the shot. But instead of complaining, he tries again. And again. And again. No waiting. No excuses. Just steady action. That is proactive energy. A shopkeeper is arranging products neatly before customers even arrive. He is preparing. He is not reacting to mess. He is preventing it. That is proactive energy. Samir realizes something powerful. Proactive people do not wait for problems to force them into action. They prepare before problems appear. And suddenly, he sees a clear picture in his mind. Two paths. Two types of life. One path, waiting, reacting, blaming, hoping, feeling stuck. The other path, choosing, acting, creating, preparing, feeling alive. And he asks himself gently, which path do I want? The answer is simple. He wants the second path. But simple answers still need small steps. So Samir decides, today I will take one small proactive step. But what should it be? He thinks about his life. He thinks about his habits. He thinks about his dreams. And one dream keeps coming to his mind. I want to improve my English. He has wanted this for years. But he always waited. Waited to feel confident. Waited to have time. Waited for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never came. So today, he chooses to create the moment. He takes out his old phone. Opens a simple English learning video. Puts in his earphones. And starts listening. Slowly. Gently. Repeating words quietly. A small action. A tiny step. A moment of creation. And that small action changes everything. Because small actions create momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates motivation. Motivation creates new habits. And new habits create a new life. Samir listens carefully. He repeats the sentences. He feels a small joy inside. A small pride. Because he is not waiting anymore. He is doing. He is moving. He is learning. He is becoming the person he always wanted to be. Not loudly. Not perfectly. But genuinely. Step by step. Breath by breath. Choice by choice. And as he learns, he feels something beautiful. Proactivity feels good. Proactivity feels peaceful. Proactivity feels powerful. It does not feel stressful. It does not feel heavy. It feels like freedom. Because when you choose to act, you are free. Free from waiting. Free from pressure. Free from fear. Free from excuses. Free from the prison of someday. Samir finishes the short English video and smiles to himself. I did it, he whispers. It is small, but it is real. And real is more important than big. As he stands up from the bench, the man next to him smiles again and says, Good practice. Samir nods. Yes, very good. The man says, See? When you act, you grow. Even if the step is small. Samir feels grateful. He feels like the world is sending him tiny messages. Tiny reminders that he is on the right path. And maybe, as you listen to this story now, the world is sending you a message too. A message that says, take one small action today. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Because small actions shape your future. Small actions build your mindset. Small actions help you become proactive. Samir walks out of the park feeling lighter, happier, stronger. And he notices something interesting. The world around him looks brighter. The same street, the same people, the same noise. But it feels different. Why? Because when your mind changes, the world changes. Proactivity begins inside you, not outside. And now, Samir is ready for the next part of his journey. A deeper lesson. A powerful lesson. A lesson that will challenge him and you. A lesson that will show what truly separates reactive people from proactive people. A lesson waiting in the next chapter. The storm inside you, Samir walks down the street with a soft smile on his face. The small English practice he just did has given him a simple but strong feeling. I can change. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is gentle and warm, like sunrise touching your skin. And this feeling stays with him as he continues walking. But soon, life tests him. Because life always tests you when you decide to grow. Not to punish you, but to see if you are ready. To see if your intention is real. To see if your new identity can stand strong. As Samir turns the corner of the street, he hears raised voices. Two men are arguing near a small shop. Their voices are sharp. Their words are angry. Their faces are tense. And suddenly, Samir feels something inside him shift. His peaceful feeling begins to break. His mind becomes tight. His heart becomes uneasy. This happens to many of us. We feel good. We feel calm. We feel motivated. And then, something small happens. Someone gets angry. Someone says something rude. Something unexpected blocks our way. And the peace we worked so hard to create disappears in seconds. This is what life wants to teach Samir today. The difference between a reactive storm inside and proactive calm. The two men continue shouting. People nearby look annoyed. Some walk away quickly. Some watch silently. And Samir feels himself reacting. His mind begins to whisper negative thoughts. Why are they shouting? This is too much. Why can't people behave nicely? His mood begins to fall. His energy becomes heavy. And his earlier motivation fades. He doesn't want this. He wants to stay calm. He wants to stay focused. He wants to stay proactive. But the storm inside him is rising. And he feels powerless. Like the world has control over him again. This is the exact moment where reactive minds break and proactive minds rise. The storm is not outside. The storm is inside. And this is your first big lesson today. A proactive life begins when you learn to calm the storm inside you, even when the world outside is noisy. The two men's argument becomes louder. People around them start taking sides. A shopkeeper tries to calm them, but no one listens. And Samir feels the pressure inside him growing. He wants to run away. He wants to shout at them. He wants to escape the noise. But deep inside, a new voice appears. A softer voice. The same voice that woke him up this morning. A voice that whispers, "You can choose your response." Samir closes his eyes for a moment. Just a moment. He takes a slow breath. Then another. And another. The noise is still there. The shouting is still there. But he focuses on his breath. Not the world. His breath. Not the noise. His breath. Not the chaos. His breath. And slowly, the storm inside him becomes quieter. His mind relaxes. His heart softens. His thoughts slow down. And he realizes something powerful. Peace is a choice. Calm is a choice. Response is a choice. No one can take that from him. No argument can steal it. No situation can control it. Only he can decide how he feels. This small moment becomes a big transformation. Because for the first time, Samir is not reacting to the world. He is responding. Gently. Consciously. Patiently. He opens his eyes again. The world outside is still loud. But inside, he is steady. He walks past the argument without letting it steal his energy. Without letting it control his mood. Without letting it pull him back into his old reactive life. And as he walks away, he feels something new, strength. Not physical strength. Inner strength of controlling himself. The strength of choosing his emotions. The strength of not letting small situations control his entire day. This is the beginning of emotional proactivity. And emotional proactivity is the foundation of every great person. Leaders have it. Creators have it. Confident speakers have it. Calm thinkers have it. People who grow in life have it. And now Samir is learning it. As the noise becomes distant behind him, Samir walks toward the bus stop. The bus is crowded today. People are tightly packed. The heat is high. A child is crying. A woman is fanning herself with a newspaper. It is uncomfortable. And Samir feels the discomfort growing inside him. Another small test. Another moment where his mind wants to complain. His inner voice starts again. Why is the bus so crowded? Why is today so difficult? Why do these things happen to me? And then he catches himself. He recognizes that voice. The reactive voice. The old version of him. The version he is trying to leave behind. He takes a breath again. Slowly. Calmly. And he says to himself in a quiet thought, "This is not happening to me. This is just happening. I choose how I respond." The bus moves slowly through traffic. A man bumps into Samir's shoulder without apologizing. The driver takes sudden breaks. The heat becomes stronger. But Samir keeps breathing. He keeps his awareness inside, not outside. And soon, he notices something strange. The things that used to bother him begin to feel small. The noise feels small. The discomfort feels small. The delay feels small. Because when your inner world is calm, your outer world feels light. This is the inner power of proactive people. They control the meaning of the situation. They decide how to interpret the world. They choose the story they tell themselves. And Samir feels this change happening inside him. Slowly. Naturally. Honestly. He gets off the bus at the Central Market. The market is full of life. Colors. Sounds. Smells. People selling vegetables. Children running around. Shopkeepers calling customers. The air is busy, busy, busy. And Samir walks through it with a new sense of awareness. He watches people closely. Some people look stressed. Their faces show worry. Their shoulders are tense. Their movements are fast and shaky. They look like they are fighting against life. Others look calm. Their eyes look soft. Their steps look steady. They look like they are flowing with life. And Samir realizes something interesting. Proactivity is not about doing more. Proactivity is about carrying calm inside you while you do things. Calm is a strength. Calm is a habit. Calm is a skill. And calm is a choice. Samir reaches a small bookstore. He enters the cool air-conditioned room and feels the relief of quiet. The shop owner greets him warmly. Looking for something today? Samir says yes. I think I want a book about habits. The shop owner nods and guides him to a small shelf filled with books about mindset, life, and growth. Samir picks up one book with a simple title, Small Steps, Big Life. He opens the first page, and the first line says, "Your life becomes peaceful when your inner choices become strong." Samir feels a shiver, because he is living that line right now. He buys the book and takes it with him as he walks out of the shop. The sky is brighter now. The air feels clearer. Or maybe Samir's heart feels clearer. He sits on a small bench near the market and opens the book again. He reads slowly, like he is drinking the words. The book tells him that there are two types of people in the world: people who live by reaction and people who live by intention. People who let emotions control them and people who control emotions with awareness. People who complain about the situation and people who learn from the situation. People who sink under pressure and people who become calm under pressure. And Samir thinks quietly, this is the person I want to be. He continues reading. One paragraph says, emotions are like weather. Some days sunny. Some days cloudy. Some days rain. Some days storm. But no matter what the weather is outside, you can build a stable home inside. These words touch something deep in him. Because for many years, his emotions controlled him. If someone spoke rudely, he became sad. If someone criticized him, he became hopeless. If something went wrong, he lost his confidence. He didn't have a stable home inside himself. But now he is building one. Brick by brick. Breath by breath. Choice by choice. Becoming proactive is not only about taking action. It is also about building an inner home where your peace lives. A home where your confidence lives. A home where your intentions live. A home where you feel safe, even when the world is not. Samir closes the book and looks around the market. The world is still noisy. Still busy. Still full of unexpected moments. But inside him, there is space. There is quiet. There is strength. And a thought comes to his mind, a thought that feels like a soft voice guiding him. I am responsible for my inner world. This sentence is the heartbeat of a proactive person. This sentence is the beginning of emotional maturity. This sentence is the start of real confidence. And now it becomes Samir's new belief. He stands up again and begins walking toward the bus stop. But something interesting happens. As he walks, he notices a young boy sitting alone on the ground near a closed shop. The boy looks sad. His head is down. How he used to look when he felt lost. How he used to feel when he felt alone. Samir stops walking and looks at the boy gently. A reactive person would walk away. A proactive person would pause, observe, and think. And Samir is becoming proactive. So he sits down next to the boy and asks softly, "Are you okay?" The boy looks up with watery eyes and shakes his head. "I lost my brother," he whispers. Samir's heart softens. He doesn't panic. He doesn't judge. He doesn't react. He responds. Calmly. Kindly. Proactively. "What is your brother's name?" he asks. The boy says the name with a trembling voice. And Samir says, "Let's find him together. I will help you." They stand up together. The boy holds Samir's hand tightly. And in this simple moment, Samir realizes something powerful. Proactive people do not only improve their own life, they make life better for others too. Not by doing big things. Not by doing dramatic things. By doing small, kind, intentional things that come from a calm heart. As they walk through the market searching for the boy's brother, Samir feels something warm in his chest. A feeling he hasn't felt in a long time. A feeling of purpose. A feeling of strength. a feeling of being needed. They walk for a few minutes until they find a small corner where a teenager is sitting on the floor, looking worried. The young boy runs to him and hugs him tightly. The teenager looks up at Samir with relief and says, "Thank you." Samir smiles and nods. "Take care of each other," he says. As he walks away, he feels the soft glow of kindness inside him. A glow that tells him he has changed today. A glow that tells him he is becoming the person he always wanted to be. A person who is calm. A person who is intentional. A person who is helpful. A person who is proactive. And the lesson becomes clear. Proactivity is not only about what you do. It is about who you become. And Samir is becoming someone new. With this new strength inside him, he is ready for the next chapter in his journey. The chapter that will teach him how proactive people think differently, plan differently, and live differently. The chapter that will show him the mental habits that change everything. The moment life gives you a choice in life, there comes a moment when everything stops. A moment when the world feels quiet, even if there is noise everywhere. A moment when your heart speaks louder than your mind. And this moment usually appears when you are standing between two roads, one road that keeps you in the same place and one road that leads you somewhere new. In this chapter of our story on becoming a proactive person, I want to take you inside that important moment, the moment when life gives you a choice. So take a slow breath, sit comfortably, and let me guide you through this journey as your friend, your coach, and your storyteller here on Mr. English Lab. Because this moment, this turning point, is where your story of proactivity takes a real shape. And as always, listen slowly, speak softly, repeat with me, and let the English words feel natural. Imagine you are walking alone on a quiet road in the early morning. The sky is still half dark and the world around you is calm. You can hear your own footsteps on the ground. You can feel the cold air touching your face. Everything feels peaceful. But something inside you feels heavy. You have been carrying a problem or a worry or a decision that you do not want to face. And suddenly, right in front of you, the road splits into two. One is familiar, safe, and comfortable. And the other is new, uncertain, and unknown. This is the moment life gives you a choice. And this is the moment when proactive people shine. People often think proactive people live perfect lives. They think proactive people always feel confident, always know what they want, always know what they are doing. But no, proactive people face the same fear, the same doubt, the same confusion as everyone else. The only difference is this: when they reach the moment of choice, they do not run away. They stop. They think. They breathe. And they choose the path that helps them grow, not the path that keeps them stuck. And this choice, this small decision, shapes their future. Let me tell you a story to help you feel this moment more clearly. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. She works hard, but she feels tired. She has dreams, but she is afraid to start. Every day, she wakes up, goes to work, comes home, cooks, watches a little TV, and sleeps. Day after day, she feels safe, but she feels empty. One night, she looks at herself in the mirror and sees a tired face, a quiet smile, and eyes that want more. For the first time, she sees her own truth. And that night becomes her moment of choice. She asks herself, do I continue my life like this? Or do I start something new? Her heart beats fast. She feels scared. She feels confused. But she also feels something hopeful inside her, something calling her forward. And at that moment, she realizes something simple. Staying the same is also a choice. Not changing is also a decision. And she thinks, if I do not choose now, my life will choose for me. That night, Sarah makes a decision. A small decision. A gentle decision. She chooses to start learning something new for 15 minutes every day. Just 15 minutes. A small step. A proactive step. But that small decision becomes the beginning of a big change in her life. This is what I want you to understand. Proactivity does not start with big action. It does not start with brave speeches or major changes or big steps. No, proactivity starts with a quiet moment, a silent decision, a soft whisper inside your heart that says, I want to grow. And if you listen to that whisper, you begin to walk the road of proactivity. And if you ignore it, you stay where you are. Life gives you many moments like this, but most people walk past them. They do not see them. They are too busy, too tired, too scared, too distracted. But proactive people see these moments. They stop. They think. They choose. And now, I want you to think of your own moment. What is moment? And right now, as you listen, you are creating your moment. You are choosing your moment. Before we close this chapter, I want you to repeat one more sentence with me. Say it slowly, softly, and clearly. I am becoming a proactive person. Good. Say it again. I am becoming a proactive person. Feel the words. Feel the meaning. Feel the change inside you. Because this is not just English practice. This is your transformation. In the next chapter, we will go deeper. We will explore how small actions create big results and how every proactive person builds a new life through tiny choices. But for now, remember this. Life gives you many roads, but only you can choose the road that leads to your future. And today, you have taken your first brave step. How small actions create a big life. There is a beautiful truth about life that many people forget. A truth so simple that most people walk past it without seeing it. The truth is this: your life does not change because of one big action. Your life changes because of many small actions repeated again and again. And in this chapter, here on Mr. English Lab, I want to take you into the heart of that truth. I want you to feel it, understand it, and believe it. Because when you understand the power of small actions, you begin to understand what proactivity really is. So once again, breathe slowly, sit comfortably, and listen to the story of the small steps that create a big life. Imagine a large mountain, a tall mountain that touches the sky. When people look at that mountain, they think, this is impossible. I can never climb this. I can never reach the top. But do you know how every mountain is climbed? Not with a jump. Not with a run. Not with a strong push. A mountain is climbed with small steps. Slow steps. Simple steps. One step, then another, then another. A person becomes a climber not because they are strong, but because they do not stop taking small steps. This is exactly how a proactive person thinks. They do not say, I need to become perfect today. They say, I will take one small step today. And this one small step slowly creates a new life. Let me take you into a small story. A story of a young man named Daniel. Daniel was not confident. He was shy. He often felt afraid to speak. He wanted to improve himself, but he felt the mountain of change was too big. One day, he heard a simple idea. Do one small thing every day that helps you grow. He thought about it. He liked it. But he did not know where to begin. So he started with something tiny. Something so small that it almost looked like nothing. He decided to read one page of a book every night before sleeping. Just one page. It did not feel like a big change. It did not feel impressive. It did not feel powerful. But he continued for 1 week. Then 2 weeks. Then 1 month. Then 3 months. After 3 months, something magical happened. He realized he had read more than 4 books. 4 books. By doing only 1 page a night. Something tiny became something big. Something small became something meaningful. And that is the power of small actions. Now think about yourself. Think about your own goals. Maybe you want to speak English better. Maybe you want to become more confident. Maybe you want to start a new job or a business or a skill. And maybe the goal looks too big. Maybe it looks too far. Maybe it feels like a mountain. But remember this. Mountains are climbed with small steps. Small actions create a big life. Let me show you what happens inside your brain when you take small actions. Your brain is like a garden. And every action you take is like a seed you plant. When you take a small positive action, like learning English for 5 minutes or writing down one idea or cleaning one small part of your room, it plants a tiny seed of change. If you plant a seed once and never return, nothing grows. But if you water that seed every day, even for a few seconds, it becomes a plant. And with time, it becomes a tree. This is why proactive people love small actions. Because small actions are easy. Small actions are simple. Small actions are gentle. But small actions repeated daily become powerful. Now let me ask you something. And say your answer softly in your mind. What is one small action you can do today? Something tiny. Something simple. Something easy. Because small actions do not need effort. They need consistency. They need repetition. They need patience. And they need belief. I want you to say this sentence with me. Small actions create my big future. Say it again, slowly. Small actions create my big future. When you repeat this sentence, you are not only practicing English, you are also planting a seed inside your mind. A seed that tells you, I can grow through small steps. Now let me take you deeper into the idea of small actions. Many people want fast results. They want success now. They want confidence now. They want fluency now. But proactivity is not about speed. Proactivity is about continuation. Continuing even when progress feels slow. Continuing even when results are invisible. Continuing even when no one sees your effort. A proactive person says, I will do my small step today, even if it feels small. Let me share another story. There was an old man named Ibrahim. Every morning at 6 a.m., he walked for 10 minutes around his neighborhood. People sometimes asked him, why only 10 minutes? Why not walk 30 minutes or 1 hour? And he smiled and said, because 10 minutes is something I can do every day. That answer is powerful. Most people try big actions, get tired, and then stop. But small actions do not exhaust you. Small actions do not discourage you. Small actions do not scare you. They move you slowly but surely. And this is how proactive people win. Not through big pushes, but through small, daily movements. If you want to become a proactive person, start by understanding this simple truth. Small actions performed consistently are more powerful than big actions performed rarely. A person who practices English for 10 minutes every day for 1 year will become more fluent than someone who studies for 3 hours once a month. A person who walks 10 minutes a day will become healthier than someone who exercises hard only 1 day and then quits. A person who reads 1 page nightly will learn more than someone who reads a whole book in 1 day but never touches a book again. Small actions give you something magical, momentum. Momentum means the feeling of moving forward. And once you feel this, once your life starts to move, you do not want to stop. Now, let's make this personal. I want you to imagine your own life 1 year from now. Imagine yourself speaking English more clearly. Imagine yourself feeling more confident. Imagine yourself waking up with more energy, more direction, more purpose. Can you see that version of you? Good. Now I want to tell you something important. That future version of you is created by the small actions you choose today. The action you choose today, no matter how tiny, becomes your future. Now let me take you to a moment of reflection. Imagine holding a small cup. Inside this cup is water. Only a little water. Not enough to fill a bottle. Not enough to fill a glass. Just a few drops. Those drops look so small. But think of this. If you keep adding drops every day, slowly, gently, patiently, one day the cup will be full. Then the glass will be full. Then the bottle will be full. Then the bucket will be full. This is exactly how your life grows. Drop by drop. step by step, day by day. When you understand this, you stop feeling pressure. You stop feeling stress. You stop feeling fear of change. Because you no longer need to climb the mountain in one day. You only need to take one small step today. Let me give you a simple sentence to repeat. Say it softly. One small step is enough for today. Very good. Now say it again a little slower. One small step is enough for today. You see, most people do not fail because the goal is too big. They fail because they try to take big steps too quickly. Proactive people avoid this mistake. They break big goals into small, simple, daily actions. For learning English, your small action can be listening for 10 minutes, repeating 5 sentences, learning one new word, speaking for 2 minutes alone, reading 1 paragraph. These actions are small, but when repeated daily, they transform your fluency. For confidence, your small actions can be standing straight for 10 seconds, looking in the mirror and smiling once, saying, "I can do this," 1 time a day, sending 1 message, talking to 1 person for 1 minute. These actions are small, but they build confidence like bricks build a house. For becoming proactive, your small actions can be making your bed every morning, writing 1 line in your notebook, drinking 1 glass of water, setting 1 small goal, finishing 1 small task. These actions are small, but they create discipline, direction, and control. Now I want you to imagine your life as a long road. Along this road, every small action is a footstep, and every footstep takes you forward. And every time you repeat a step, the road gets clearer. The direction becomes easier. The journey becomes smoother. And slowly, step by small step, you arrive at a place you once thought was too far. Before we end this chapter, I want to give you a small challenge. A friendly challenge. Choose 1 small proactive action you will do today. Only 1. It can be tiny. It can be simple. But choose it. And say this sentence with me. I will take 1 small step today. Good. Now say it 1 more time. I will take 1 small step today. This is how transformation begins. Not with pressure. Not with stress. Not with fear. But with a small step. In the next section, we will explore something even more powerful, how proactive people take responsibility for their lives, and how that responsibility creates freedom, confidence, and success. The power of taking responsibility. There is a moment in every person's life when they learn one of the most powerful truths about being human. A truth that changes how they think, how they feel, how they act, and how they grow. The truth is this: your life becomes stronger the moment you take responsibility for it. And in this chapter, here on Mr. English Lab, I want to take you deep into this idea, not with difficult words, not with complicated explanations, but with simple, soft, clear storytelling. Because the idea of responsibility is not heavy. It is not scary. It is actually something beautiful. Something that gives you freedom. Something that gives you power. Something that gives you the life you want. So once again, relax your body, breathe slowly, and listen gently. Let me start with a small picture. Imagine a house. Inside the house, the lights are off. The room is dark. You cannot see anything. You want the light to come on, but nothing changes. You feel frustrated. You feel stuck. You feel helpless. Then, suddenly, you look around and realize something simple but important. You're standing next to the switch. You have the power to turn the light on. No one else is holding the switch. No one else is stopping you. The switch is in your hand. And with one small movement, the whole room becomes bright. This is what responsibility feels like. It feels like finding the light switch inside your own life. Most people live in the dark not because they do not have a light, but because they do not realize they can turn it on. They wait for someone else to fix things. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for the world to change. They wait, and they wait, and they wait. But proactive people understand something better. The switch is in their hands. Now let me tell you a story to help you feel the meaning of responsibility. There was a young teacher named Elena. She was kind, hardworking, and gentle, but she always felt stressed. When her students misbehaved, she blamed the school. When her lessons failed, she blamed the system. When she felt tired, she blamed her schedule. When she was unhappy, she blamed everyone around her. She felt like the world was controlling her life, and she was only reacting to it. One afternoon, after a difficult day, she sat alone in her classroom. She felt tired and frustrated. Tears slowly came to her eyes. She whispered to herself, "Why is everything so hard for me?" At that moment, an older teacher named Mr. Hassan walked past her room. He noticed her sadness and stepped inside. He asked, "What's wrong?" Elena explained everything: her stress, her problems, her frustrations. She expected him to say, "Yes, you are right, the world is unfair." But instead, he smiled gently and said, "Elena, your life is your responsibility." She looked at him surprised. She felt confused. She almost felt angry. But he continued softly, "It does not mean everything is your fault. It means everything is your power. You can change your class. You can change your routine. You can change your habits. You can change your reactions. You have the switch." At first, she did not understand. But later that night, she thought deeply about his words. She realized something important. She had been waiting for everything around her to change. But she had not changed anything inside herself. The next day, she decided to take responsibility for one small thing: her morning routine. Instead of waking up late and rushing to school, she woke up earlier, made tea slowly, breathed, and prepared her lesson calmly. That one simple act changed her day. And that day changed her week. And slowly, her life changed too. Not because the world got easier, but because she took responsibility. Responsibility is not a heavy word. It is a light inside you. It means you have the power to choose your reactions. You have the power to choose your habits. You have the power to choose your steps. You have the power to change your story. Say this sentence softly with me: I choose responsibility. Good. Now say it again. I choose responsibility. When you say this, something inside you becomes stronger. Something inside you wakes up. Let me explain responsibility in the simplest way. Imagine you are in a small boat on the water. If you drop the paddle and do nothing, the boat moves anywhere the water takes it. Maybe forward, maybe backward, maybe in circles. The water controls your direction. This is what life feels like when you do not take responsibility. You are floating. You are drifting. You are reacting. But if you pick up the paddle and begin to move it, even slowly, you start to control your direction. You start to choose where your boat goes. You start to guide your journey. The water may still be strong. The waves may still push. But the paddle is in your hands. That paddle is your responsibility. Now, let me take you deeper. Responsibility does not mean you control everything. It means you control your response. Life will bring problems. Life will bring surprises. Life will bring happy moments and difficult moments. But proactive people do not say, "Why me?" They say, "What can I do now?" Do you feel the difference? Why me is weakness. What can I do now is power. Let me give you a small example. Imagine you miss your bus. A reactive person says, "Why is my life like this? Everything goes wrong for me." A proactive person says, "Okay, I missed the bus. What can I do now? Can I walk? Can I take a rickshaw? Can I call someone? Can I use this extra time to learn something?" The situation is the same. The difference is the response. One person feels helpless. The other person feels powerful. Responsibility gives you control of your life. And when you feel in control, you feel confident. And when you feel confident, you take better actions. And when you take better actions, your life grows. Let me tell you something important now. Many people avoid responsibility because they think it means blame. They think, if I take responsibility, people will say everything is my fault. But responsibility is not blame. Responsibility is ownership. It means you own your life. You own your decisions. You own your future. It means you stop waiting for someone else to fix your problems. Let me give you a gentle question. Say the answer softly in your mind. Is there something in my life I need to take responsibility for? Maybe it is your English learning. Maybe it is your habits. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is your thoughts. Maybe it is your emotions. Whatever it is, taking responsibility does not make you weak. It makes you strong. It makes you proactive. Now repeat after me, slowly, clearly, softly. My life is my responsibility. One more time. My life is my responsibility. Good. Let me share one more story. There was a young boy named Arav. He lived in a small house with his family. One day, his father gave him a tiny plant in a pot. The father said, "This is your plant. If you take care of it, it will grow. If you forget it, it will die. This plant is your responsibility." At first, Arav watered it every day. But after 1 week, he became busy, distracted, lazy. He forgot to water the plant. After some time, the plant began to turn brown. The leaves became dry. The stem became weak. One morning, Arav saw the plant and felt sad. He realized he had not taken responsibility. He had forgotten something that depended on him. He looked at the plant and said, "I will not give up on you." He began watering it again every day. Slowly, very slowly, the plant began to stand straight again. The leaves became greener. The plant became alive again. Arav learned something important. Responsibility is not about being perfect. It is about caring. It is about trying. It is about showing up even after you fail. And that is what you must learn too. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to have everything figured out. You only need to take responsibility for one small thing today. Say this sentence with me. I take responsibility for my growth. Beautiful. Again, I take responsibility for my growth. Before we close this chapter, let me give you a final picture. Imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes. And say softly, "I am in control of my story." Feel those words. Feel the power. Feel the truth. Because proactive people do not wait for life to happen. They take responsibility. They hold the paddle. They turn on the light. They choose their direction. And so will you. In the next section, we will explore how proactive people stay calm and clear, even when life becomes difficult. We will talk about emotional control, the heart of true proactivity. The pause before the storm. Before the scene begins, imagine this. A quiet evening.